You've heard of Noah's Ark, but what if I told you the story of the Great Flood didn't begin with the Bible? Long before Genesis, a man named Ziusudra received a divine warning from the gods and built a massive boat to survive a global deluge. His tale was carved into ancient clay tablets, hidden into the sands of Sumeria for thousands of years. Was Noah the original hero, or just a rewritten echo of a forgotten story? Stick with me as we explore the chilling similarities, the shocking differences on the ancient truth buried beneath religion, myth, and time itself. Ziusudra, also spelled Ziusudra or Ziusura, was a Sumerian king and priest who lived in Shurupak, an ancient city near the Euphrates River. His name means life of long days, or he who laid hold on life. He appears in a Sumerian text known as the Eridu Genesis, dated around 1600 BCE or earlier, making it older than the book of Genesis, which was compiled centuries later. In that story, Ziusudra is warned by the god Enki, the Sumerian deity of wisdom and water, of a coming flood that would destroy all life. Why? Because humanity had grown noisy and chaotic. Sound familiar? The Sumerian flood myth is eerily similar to the biblical tale. Here's how it goes. The Anunnaki, the powerful gods of Sumer, decide to wipe out humanity. But Enki, who favors mankind, breaks divine law and secretly warns Ziusudra. Ziusudra builds a massive boat, loads it with animals and seeds, and rides out a terrifying 7-day storm. After the flood, his boat comes to rest on a mountain. He releases birds to find land and offers sacrifices to the gods. As a reward, Ziusudra is granted eternal life in a distant paradise. Now let's compare that to Noah. Ziusudra, Sumerian. Noah, Genesis. Warned by Enki, warned by Yahweh, flood due to humanity's noise, flood due to human wickedness, builds a giant boat, builds an ark, saves animals, releases birds, boat lands on a mountain, boat lands on Ararat, offers sacrifice, granted eternal life, lives 950 years, dies. The similarities are undeniable. But there are key differences too. Ziusudra was granted immortality. Noah was not. Also, Ziusudra's story comes from polytheistic texts, Noah's from a monotheistic worldview, but both seem to point to a shared flood memory, or perhaps a shared source. Here's where things get deeper. The Anunnaki, described in the tablets, were powerful sky beings who shaped and ruled over early humanity. Some say they were gods, others claim they were ancient astronauts. It was Enki, one of these beings, who warned Ziusudra. Was this divine communication, or advanced knowledge passed from beings beyond our understanding? The Bible never names Noah's God beyond Yahweh, but the Sumerians name Enki, Enlil, and others, each with specific roles. Could the Genesis account have simplified a more complex pantheon? Most biblical scholars agree that Genesis was written or compiled around 600 to 500 BCE during or after the Babylonian exile. By then, Mesopotamian texts like the Eridu Genesis and the Epic of Gilgamesh were already well known in the region. It's likely that scribes encountered these flood stories and adapted them into the monotheistic framework of the Hebrews. The flood story wasn't stolen, it was transformed, spiritualized. But the parallels show us something powerful. These stories carry deep truth from a shared ancient memory. Here's the twist that changes everything. Ziusudra is granted eternal life and taken to live with the gods. Noah, however, remains mortal. He lives, plants a vineyard, and dies. Could this difference be a symbolic shift from literal divinity to human morality? Or did earlier cultures truly believe in apotheosis, the transformation of man into God? Either way, Ziusudra's story offers a cosmic dimension the Genesis still lacks. So what do we do with all of this? Is Noah simply a rewritten Ziusudra? Are the Anunnaki just early expressions of divine messengers? Maybe the flood stories are more than myth. Maybe they're distorted memories of an actual event, one so massive it echoed across cultures. The truth? It's probably somewhere between history, myth, and mystery. But one thing's clear. Long before Noah, there was Ziusudra. And that story is only now being remembered. Stay subscribed to our channel for more great stories.